A silent war is being waged within you at this very moment. This conflict leaves no visible scars and makes no sound, yet it holds the power to chart the entire course of a human life. Its battles are not fought in external arenas before an audience. They unfold on the most intimate and hushed stage imaginable, the shadowy corridors and secret chambers of your own consciousness. You are likely familiar with the particular fatigue it brings. It is not a physical tiredness that a good night's sleep can remedy. It is a weariness of the spirit, a profound exhaustion born from the relentless effort of fending off shadows and defending against voices only you can hear. In this internal theater, every thought and every memory that surfaces carries immense weight. A thought can be an ally, a comforting word, a beacon of hope, or it can be a treacherous foe, an executioner that whispers of defeat before the fight has even begun. What if I told you that the key to inner peace lies not in winning this war by force, nor in shouting down these internal voices, but in undertaking a far more profound act? What if true freedom comes from realizing that many of the soldiers fighting for you, the very guards protecting your inner fortress, are in fact defending a lie? They are battling a non-existent enemy, guided by antiquated and distorted maps of a territory that no longer exists. Your thoughts are the unseen architects of your reality, both now and forever. Before any tangible action in the world, before any gesture or spoken word, there exists a vibrant universe of ideas, conjectures, and beliefs. Before any concrete victory, there must first be a belief, however fragile, that victory is possible. Your mind, that vast and complex ecosystem of neurons and synapses, is the author of your life's script. It writes the dialogue, sets the scenes, and plots the conflicts and their resolutions. Your body, in turn, is the dedicated actor. It performs, it executes, it lives out the story conceived by the mind, often without ever questioning whether the script it follows is based on truth or on deeply ingrained fiction. It is here, in the gap between the script and the performance, that one of our most significant and cruelest challenges resides. The human mind possesses a near-relentless tendency, a cognitive bias, a compulsive need to endlessly seek proof that confirms its pre-established convictions. It is as if your awareness were a stubborn archaeologist digging through the soil of your memory, but due to a fundamental flaw, only unearths and values the fragments that fit its initial theory. If your core belief is that you are not good enough, your mind becomes a search engine, scouring every corner of your past, bringing to the surface every minor failure, every criticism received, every sideways glance interpreted as rejection. It ignores your successes, downplays compliments, and transforms these shards of pain, these broken emotional fossils, into irrefutable proof of an absolute and unchangeable truth. I want to extend an invitation to you now. Take a mental pause for a moment. Look inward. What is that recurring thought, that absolute truth that plays like a negative mantra in your mind, which you feel in your soul is the primary shackle holding you back? What is the phrase that, when you hear it internally, makes the world feel like a smaller, darker place? We build our own prisons, brick by invisible brick. The toughest, most resilient, and most enduring prisons in human existence are not forged from iron, cement, or steel. They are constructed from a far more subtle, yet infinitely more powerful material: narratives. Narratives repeated until they become dogma. They are internal voices that whisper of failure and hum melodies of inadequacy. Every time you think, "I am not capable," you lay a brick. Every time you convince yourself, "This is not for me," you set another. They are invisible to the eye, yet they exert a real and oppressive weight on your shoulders. The jailer who keeps you locked behind these walls, who guards the gate and prevents your escape, is not a stranger or an external oppressor. It is your own mind, conditioned to believe more in past defeats than in future potential. This is why so many of us abandon the journey before taking the first step. Paralysis most often stems not from a real physical or intellectual incapacity, but from a deep-seated belief in the wrong map. We follow the cartography of fear, a twisted diagram that highlights every chasm, every danger, every arid desert, while completely omitting the safe routes, the oases, and the breathtaking landscapes that are also part of the journey. Inaction then sets in, and it is crucial to understand this is rarely simple laziness. Laziness is superficial. The inaction born from these mental prisons is profound. It is the final solemn act of a silent internal trial, a courtroom where you are simultaneously the judge, the jury, and the defendant. The body obeys. It freezes, not from a lack of vitality, but because the sentence has already been passed in the mind. It is not worth trying. And as if this burden were not heavy enough, we then relinquish our own measuring stick. We begin to compare ourselves. This is perhaps one of the slowest, most invisible, and most corrosive poisons the mind can produce. Anyone who insists on measuring their own worth, success, and happiness by someone else's ruler is inevitably condemned to an eternal and debilitating sense of insufficiency. There will always be someone who has more, who seems better, happier, more accomplished. The mind, intoxicated by comparison, loses the ability to see what is real, what is authentically its own. It becomes blind to its own colors and sees only lack, emptiness, and what has not yet been conquered. The soul, deprived of its own radiance, slowly withers, like a flower without light, never feeling truly whole or at home. Press pause, seriously. Stop for a moment and take a deep breath. Answer with absolute honesty, just for yourself. In which area of your life has the toxic habit of comparison stolen your peace most? Is it in your professional life, your relationships, your appearance, your financial state? The simple, courageous act of recognizing this pattern, of bringing it into the light of awareness, is itself an immensely powerful step towards self-healing. This entire machinery of distorted thoughts, comparisons, and limiting beliefs forges, in the end, an identity that is not your own. It is a heavy mask, shaped over years by the lies we have internalized and the expectations we have absorbed from the world. We wear labels that do not belong to us: the incompetent one, the unlovable one, the one who always fails. We believe in this persona so thoroughly that we forget who we truly are. Each repetition of a self-deprecating thought acts like a subtle hammer blow, chiseling a false sculpture, until our genuine essence is buried under layers and layers of conditioning. We end up trapped in a form that does not represent us, acting a part we did not write, feeling like foreigners in our own skin. But what if I told you, with complete clarity and conviction, that you can become the master gardener of this mind? What if I showed you that contemporary science, through the study of neuroplasticity, irrefutably proves that your brain is not a rigid, immutable object like a stone sculpture? It is plastic, malleable like moist clay. This means you can, with the right tools, reprogram it. You can indeed undo these neural circuits of pain, fear, and self-sabotage. You can create new pathways, new neural routes that lead to more fertile and peaceful mental landscapes. Therefore, renewal is not about coating the mind with positive catchphrases like a layer of paint over moldy wallpaper. It is a much deeper, more transformative work. It is the conscious and courageous demolition of the mental structures built from the raw materials of pain and illusion. It is taking a hammer and breaking these invisible bricks, one by one. It is reconstructing the very foundations of your perception, carefully and intentionally, choosing new pillars of thought, new beams of belief that can support a self more aligned with your true essence. Confronted with this, a crucial question arises. What is the antidote? The antidote to the internalized lie is not, and never will be, emptiness. Trying to simply erase, deny, or fight negative thoughts is like trying to push back darkness with your bare hands, a futile effort. The only way to dispel darkness is to introduce light. Similarly, the only effective way to combat a toxic mental narrative is not through sheer denial, but by replacing it with a stronger, brighter, and more powerful truth. The mind, like fertile soil, cannot be left fallow. If you do not plant good seeds, the weeds of fear and doubt will grow on their own. Therefore, the mind must be actively replenished, nourished with liberating truths, expansive perspectives, and healing stories. This process, it must be said, requires a fundamental ingredient: faith. Not a blind, naive faith that refuses to see real difficulties and obstacles, but a mature, conscious, and courageous faith. It is the courage to look at the same difficulty, the same problem, but through a different lens, It is the decision to wear glasses that reveal possibilities, opportunities for growth, and lessons where the conditioned mind only sees limits, threats, and impossibilities. Fear in its essence is a false prophet. It is the one that always anticipates tragedy, predicts defeat, and projects a future of pain. Faith, on the other hand, is the messenger that also anticipates but announces victory, overcoming, and a future of fulfillment. Both fear and faith are narratives about what is not yet. Both are voices speaking of tomorrow. The great question, the one that defines the course of your life, is, which of these voices will you choose to listen to? Which of these prophets will you decide to feed with your attention? If this exploration into the mechanisms of your own mind resonates with you, if it echoes in your heart as truth, then I ask you, leave a thumbs up, a heart. This small gesture is not just a number on a screen. It is a powerful way for me to know we are connected on this journey, that we are not alone in this quest for a freer mind. It is also a way to spread this energy, this invitation to reflection, so that more people can be reached by this message. Now, I would like to offer you something more than theory. I would like to guide you through a simple yet profoundly transformative practice that you can incorporate into your routine starting today. Let's do the conscious replacement exercise together. Find a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down. Make sure you are in a safe place where you will not be interrupted for a few minutes. If you feel comfortable, gently close your eyes. Now, bring one of your hands to the center of your chest, over your heart. Feel the warmth of your hand, the gentle touch on your body. This simple action helps bring your awareness into the present moment, inward. Now, breathe. Inhale deeply, filling your lungs with air slowly and serenely, and exhale, releasing all tension, all external noise. Do this 2 more times. Inhale peace, exhale chaos. Inhale presence, exhale distraction. With a slightly calmer mind comes the crucial step. Bring to the surface of your awareness one of those limiting narratives we named earlier. That recurring thought that paralyzes you. Do not fight it. Do not try to expel it. Simply observe it. See it as an object floating down a river. Acknowledge its presence neutrally without judgment. Then, in an act of inner sovereignty, say to yourself silently or in a whisper, "This is just a story my mind is telling. It is not a fact. It is not the absolute truth about who I am." In doing this, you create a space between you and the thought. You cease to be the thought and become the awareness observing it. And now, in the void left by this recognition, comes the replacement. Create, intentionally, a new narrative. It doesn't have to be a grand, unrealistic affirmation. It can be a gentler possibility, one step up. If the mind says, "I can't," you don't have to force an "I can do anything." You can whisper with compassion, "I am open to learning how I can." If the mind shouts, "I don't deserve to be happy," you can counter with, "I'm willing to learn to receive happiness." The focus here is not on a lie, but on an openness to a new possibility. Feel in your body the difference between the energy of the old thought and the energy of this new narrative. Where one contracted, the other expands. Where one weighed heavily, the other lightens. Allow yourself to inhabit this new frequency, even if only for 30 seconds. This is your territory. This is your freedom in action. For true freedom, the ultimate liberty that no external circumstance can take from you, is not born from the absence of chains or bars around you. It is born from unquestioned sovereignty over your own mental territory. It is the moment you, as a conscious monarch, decide which thoughts will be granted citizenship in your awareness and which will be seen as foreign invaders. It is the daily, courageous choice to refuse to be governed by false voices, echoes of a bygone past, and to assume the inner throne of your own mind. Always remember, your outer life, your results, your relationships, your peace will invariably follow the dominant tone of your mind. If the internal winds blow storms of doubt, fear, and criticism, it matters little if the sea of your external life is calm and serene. Your internal ship will be adrift, tossed violently, lost in the fog. But if, on the other hand, you can cultivate internal clarity, a serenity of purpose, then even when the outer sea is turbulent, with gigantic waves of challenges and adversity, You will have a steady helm in your hands. You will have a direction. The compass of your heart will be aligned with the true north of your soul. Profound transformation is not a single spectacular event like in a movie. It is a daily, silent, and persistent discipline. It is the work of the gardener, who knows every inch of their inner soil and understands that without vigilant, loving care, the weeds of old beliefs will quickly reclaim the entire plot. It is the courage to, every day, plant new seeds of truth, water them with attention, and protect them from the pests of others' judgment and self-criticism. If you wish to continue this work with us, if you desire to delve deeper into this journey of self-knowledge and mental reprogramming, then I invite you to join our community. Click the bell to activate notifications and not miss any of our upcoming videos here on FreeMind. And I have one final, very special invitation for you today. Share this video. Share it with someone you know deep in your heart is also fighting this silent battle. It could be a family member, a friend, a colleague. Often the greatest healing, the greatest relief we can experience comes from the simple, powerful knowledge that we are not alone, that our pain is understood, that our struggle is valid. Thank you for dedicating this time to your own essence. Thank you for allowing these words to resonate within you. Until the next video. And may you carry with you the peace and light you deserve with every step of your journey.